The Nigeria Premier Football League clash between Bayelsa United and Plateau United ongoing or almost done at the moment. At first, it was 1-0. Plateau United did score early in the game. After the goal came, Bayelsa United equalized to make it 1-1. And that game was supposed to be played at 4 p.m. Nigerian time, but the game was moved back to 8 a.m., which eventually started at 9 a.m. And this is as a request of the home side. They're talking about, Bayelsa United, who requested a shift in date, and that's because the stadium will be used for a function later today. I read the comments, the letter the Nigerian Premier Football League Board sent to respective teams. According to them, it says, your letter requesting a change in kickoff time from 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. has been received and considered. Now, given the non-sporting nature of your request, the NPFL has elected to approve your request on the condition that you pay a fine of 500,000 naira only for the unusual request. Now, this must first be paid before the match that was supposed to be played today, which, of course, is ongoing at the moment. And don't forget, Bayelsa United and Plateau United, we heard that there will be the stadium will be at use this evening, and that also affected the game. But a lot of persons are saying at the moment that, football in Nigeria, it seems, is not taken so seriously because this game had been placed to hold on at 4 p.m. Plateau United, who trained on Saturday, trained exactly match time in the evening of Saturday. That's because they are also conditioning themselves ahead of Sunday's game that would go down at 4 p.m. Only for them to be told last night that the game will hold at 8 a.m. Nigerian time because the stadium will be in use. There are lots of things happening in our football in Nigeria. We are asking series of questions. But, it's questions begging for answers at the moment. But 2-1 at the moment. Bayelsa United have been able to, get ahead, in that game. And it's 2-1 at the moment between Bayelsa United and Plateau United. And the 500,000, a lot of persons are asking, what is the money for? Is Bayelsa United paying 500,000 to the league for the change in time or for the inconveniences? Who should be getting the money? These are also questions begging for answer. But still talking about the NPFL, Kwara United continued their fine form with a convincing 3-1 victory over struggling champions Remo Stars in Ilorin on Saturday. Junior Aimufua struck twice, while Babatunde Bright's thunderous effort sealed the unbeaten league game for the Harmony Boys, who have risen to 5th on the table with 16 points. Now, Remo Stars still looking for a win after their CAF exit to Mamelodi Sundowns, struggled defensively and failed to match Kwara United's intensity. Now, despite a bright start and several missed chances, their efforts only yielded a late consolation from Malik Jabbar. Now, the defeat leaves the champions 17th with 10 points, piling pressure on coach Daniel Ogumodede ahead of their trip to face league leaders United on Wednesday. Now, joining us to review games on Saturday and also preview games to expect today as a sports journalist, Pius Ahamba joins us this morning. Pius, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, muted. Good morning to you, and of course, thank you for having me once again. It's a pleasure to be here. All
right, Pius, let's start with Remo Stars and Kwara United and Remo Stars. He ended 3-1 in favor of Kwara United. Maybe Remo Stars would have been difficult for them to pull a win in Ilorin, but we've seen them get away wins in the past. But Kwara United were able to get goals, not just 3 points, but they scored 3 against Remo Stars.
It's just like you already mentioned, it just goes on to show us the Warri in that Remo Stars camp. Coming off the home and away loss to Mamelodi Sundowns, it's a worry. They just one win in the last 5 games for Remo Stars in the league. Rocked 17th on the log. It's not looking well for Daniel Ogumodede. There are a lot of things to talk about when it concerns Remo Stars. It has to, a lot of factors what have contributed to this. One, from the very good get-go, they didn't replace the players they lost at the beginning of the season adequately. I don't think, in my opinion, that they effectively covered those gaps left by players like the captain, Junior Duka, and some other players who actually left the side. I don't think they actually replaced those players very, very well, even though they only did in number and not in quantity and not in quality, if you get what I mean. Apart from that, also the fact that they have to play some of their home games away from home. KOI also mean playing Abeokuta instead of Ikene. That's also another factor. Every other little factors are around the team. So it's not just going so well for Remo Stars. But on the basis of the game yesterday, I must give it to Kwara United because the defense of Remo Stars all season have been very, very shambolic, very woeful. The coordination has not been there. There is no even authority in that defense. You can see that they lack an experienced head. They bought this Genge guy from Ikorodu City, but I don't think he has done enough job to cover the gaps left by Nduka Jr. I don't think so, in my own opinion. The defensive shape has not even been good. The right and left hand wing of Remo Stars, which has actually been one of their strongholds in recent years, has not also been producing. So a lot of cracks here and there, but I trust they're not going to be able to get out of this. Maybe not even compete for the league anymore, as far as I'm concerned, and taking them off that particular shape. Talking about contenders, but maybe just finish in maybe an appreciable position and then see how next season we go for it. That's what the NPFL is all about. If you ask Dan Ogumole, it's actually not his fault because some of these players will leave. Some of the best players he has right now would eventually leave next season, and there is nothing Daniel can do about it. There is even nothing Kunle Shuname, the owner of the club, can do about it. It's just the way the league is structured. We've talked about this over and over again, and I think everybody understands right now that there is nothing any of these coaches can do about it. The other day I was having a lengthy conversation with Benga Ogumpo, the former coach of Shooting Stars, and we spoke at length, and these coaches are handicapped. I will use that word. They are handicapped. You can't cage a player. You can't tell a player not to leave, and then you can't tell a player what to do. A player who, for example, Duka, we know his salary right here in Nigeria. We know how much he's anywhere he is right now. You can't tell such a player not to leave to go and earn more money somewhere. So it's just the way it is. But I think Kwara United did their homework yesterday, and of course, they deserve to get all 3 points against Remo Stars.
All right, interesting, take right there from you, Pius. But let's go straight now to what happened this morning. Just on Saturday, Plateau United and Bayelsa United were supposed to play at 4 p.m. today, but a request was made by Bayelsa United to the league body, and the league body in turn responded via an official release. I don't know if my producer can put it on the screen so we can also have to see it and see what was said. But then the letter did say that they have also heard Bayelsa United's request to move the game from 4 p.m. till morning because, of course, the stadium will be used for government functions later today. And then 500,000 naira was asked to be paid by the league body, but it was not stated clearly who this 500,000 was meant for. But at the end of the day, Plateau United trained at match time yesterday. That was on Saturday, but they played this morning. Game that was supposed to be played at 8 a.m. was eventually played at 9 a.m. It seems, football it's not business for the league body or for club sides. The government knows a game will be played today, and the government function. It's not like I see the government function was learnt about maybe last night or yesterday afternoon. But this kind of issues in the league, don't you think it affects the competitiveness? Having Plateau United play in the morning and they've been training for an evening game.
It goes on to show us what we've been talking about. This is because, like you already mentioned, we don't take football as business. If the organizers of the league understand the fact that they're going to lose a lot from this shenanigans that just happened now, they probably won't do this. But they know there's nothing to lose. The only thing there is the 2 teams, 11 players show up, and then you play for football. That's it. Just for example, you have TV rights. You have TV covering that particular game. They've set up the equipment. They know you're supposed to cover the game at 4 p.m. Would you be doing all of this? No, because you know that there's nothing. We just see a rectangular pitch, and they mark the pitches. They put the flags for the goal line, and of course they put two linesmen, 2 referees, and then you ask 11 players to come. Coaches are there, and then they play and they leave. That's it, and that's why all of this can happen. We don't. The other day I was listening to the NSC chairman, who was talking about the fact that we didn't get the writing rights to host the competition in Nigeria. And I was wondering to myself, where are the infrastructure? Where do you want to host this competition? What do you want to do? There are a lot of issues. We just do anything anyhow, and then we get results. That's just the only thing I can see. We just want to play. whether the league is professional or not, whether we're doing things the right way or not, we just don't want to know it. We just want to play football just for the sake of playing football. And again, football has gone beyond all that. That's why you see countries that are near neighboring countries, they are developing in terms of football because they are doing things right. But we ourselves, we just want to gather. But as far as I'm concerned, there is no point having 20 teams play the Nigerian Premier Football League, where, as a matter of fact, we don't have more than 5 or 6 professional teams in the league. There is no point. We just gather teams and we just want to play football. I mean, the issues are many. Yeah, honestly, it's even tiring sometimes. To be fair.
All right. Pius, let's take a look at today's games in the NPFL. We have interesting matches to look out for. Despite games that already been played, the likes of El-Kanemi Warriors to take on Enugu Rangers, Barawa FC against Wiki Toys of Bauchi, Ikorodu City against Kun Khalifa, Enyimba against Kano Pillars, Niger Tornadoes against Abia Warriors. These are some of the games to expect today. Rivers United against Nasarawa United, Shooting Stars against Katsina United. Pius, which of these games do you have your eyes on? Rivers United against Nasarawa United, that might be the decider of how the table will shape at the end of the day, considering that Nasarawa United have been getting good number of points this season.
Yeah, Rivers United, my focus on Rivers United because we know how the last 3 games in the league has actually gone from back-to-back wins to 2 wins and 1 loss. For Nasarawa United, also, of course, on top of the table, trying to cement themselves there and, of course, see how they can, sit comfortably right there. That's one game I'll be looking forward to. Even though I also got my eyes on that Shooting Stars game, which is one that I also want to see how they can also capitalize on their recent good run of form. So I think we have a pretty of this match here and there, big guys versus. Some of the games we already know how it will end. I'm not saying they are already pre-planned, but in terms of the quality of the teams, we already know how it will end. I would have said El-Kanemi Warriors versus Rangers, but we know Rangers these days. We don't know what's happening with Rangers, but some of these games, they just and of course, Kano Pillars Enyimba has to be one other good game that we'll have talked about. But Kano Pillars right now, bottom of the table, they are not in good run of form. I expect Enyimba to get off 3 points against Kano Pillars. Well, maybe 1 or 2 teams can actually navigate something. Talking about Abia Warriors, we are Niger Tornadoes, but that's also another difficult center for Abia Warriors to travel. So. Some of these games we already know. Ikorodu City, I expect them to get off 3 points against Kun Khalifa. Of course, they're playing at home. And of course, interesting. Barawa FC is one thing that I actually thought maybe would even give us 1 or 2 surprises here and there. But how they've managed not to hold their even home ground very, very strong is quite surprising. So, Victories, that's also another affair where I think would be a very, very good watch. I think they will have a lot of supporters come out to watch them. An interesting encounter. We have a series of good games today. Hopefully the teams at home make best of their opportunity, and of course teams away which try to get something. But of course, like I mentioned, some of these fixtures we already know how to play out, judging from the strength and of course the matches already played from these teams in Nigeria Premier Football League. But one thing that actually surprised me yesterday, I forgot to mention.
Warri Wolves and Bendel Insurance, right?
The Bendel Insurance game,
yeah, exactly.
That game actually was quite surprising. Where Warri was managed to get 1 point. We had Bendel Insurance. Knowing fully well, this is Kennedy Boboye's second game in charge of Bendel Insurance. His first game, he drew away, which everyone applauded him. Okay, yes, of course, impressive. Expected him to win yesterday. They scored an early goal. I was following that game. They scored an early goal, and of course, Warri was actually equalized, and that was how the game ended. I was quite surprised they didn't get all 3 points. But Bendel Insurance was also. Let's not forget to mention that the problem of Coach George, that's their former manager, is still there. They're creating chances, but they're not converting. Yesterday, they created a lot of chances, but they were not converting those chances, and that's why they're where they are. They're also in relegation zone at this point in time. So I don't know how Kennedy Boboye wants to, change the setting, but they need to start. They are playing well, they're defending well, but they are not scoring.
All right, they're defending well, they're not scoring, but let's take a look at the top 6 and bottom 6 of the NPFL before we move on to other stories. Nasarawa United, they have outstanding matches, they're still trailing, or they're still leading the table, but of course they come up against Rivers United, who will be looking forward to, get something, today. Warri Wolves, after that draw, they are really doing well right there on the table. It's Warri Wolves second, Abia Warriors third, Niger Tornadoes fourth, we have Kwara United fifth, Ikorodu City 6. Let's take a look at the bottom 6. in the NPFL table. We have Kano Pillars, Barawa FC, Bendel Insurance, Remo Stars, Bayelsa United, and of course, Plateau United. These are traditional teams, in the bottom 6, but it might change, and that's of course how each of these sides, get results, in that particular one. Rivers United are currently 11 to 13 points. A win for them will take them to 16 points. They still have outstanding matches to play, and that's how it is right there for the NPFL. I must say a big thank you to you, Pius, for your quality time on the show today. We look forward to an exciting NPFL fixtures. And the interesting thing about the NPFL is that a win can take you from maybe 13th to like 7th or 6th. That's the beautiful thing about the NPFL. So I'm not really surprised. I mean, once upon a time, Warriors were struggling. Now Warriors is among the top 6. It could change tomorrow. It could change next week. But good thing is every team knows that they have to pick points, whether home or away. But I want to say thank you to you for your time.
Exactly. For example, like a team like Remo Stars, they played 8 games, they have 10 points. Nigeria Senators are on 17 points. If they play their 2 outstanding games, they win. That 6 points for them. They go into the top 5 already, and that's it. Boom, just like that, from bottom of the table to the top. So that's the margin, and that's because we don't have a lot of away wins and a lot of away draws. We seldom have those things. Although they're becoming rampant these days, but the difference is so close, because if you lose that away today, you are very guaranteed that you win at home next week. So that's how. But thank you so much for having me once again.
All right, thank you very much, Pius. Interesting time, interesting conversations with you.